What's going on, people? There's a lot of things going on in politics right now. Former President Trump picks Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio as his Republican running mate. Donald Trump had this to say after a lengthy deliberation and thought, and considering the tremendous talents of many others, I have decided that the person best suited to assume the position of Vice President of the United States is Senator J.D. Vance of the great state of Ohio. J.D. honorably served our country in the Marine Corps, graduated from Ohio State University in 2 years, summa cum laude, and is a Yale Law School graduate, where he was an editor of the Yale Law Journal and president of the Yale Veterans Association. J.D.'s books, Hillbilly Elegy, became a major bestseller and movie and is championed the hardworking men and women of our country. J.D. has had a very successful business career in technology and finance, and now during the campaign will be strongly focused on the people he fought so brilliantly for, the American workers and farmers in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Minnesota, and far beyond. Well, that's what former President Donald Trump had to say. So who is this guy, right? Who is J.D. Vance? Let's go ahead and get into it.
J.D. Vance has had a meteoric rise in the Republican Party. From a best-selling author and never Trumper in 2016.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
To winning a U.S. Senate seat at age 38. And now, he's former President Donald Trump's running mate.
Elect Donald Trump in 2024. God bless you, sir.
Vance is very much a creature of the new Republican Party that Trump has shaped in his image. By picking Vance, Trump is showing he's doubling down on this MAGA agenda. It's a full-throated, populist, national conservative ticket.
Here's why the Trump-Vance ticket is a big deal for the future of the MAGA movement and the GOP. J.D. Vance first catapulted to fame in 2016 after he published his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy. The book detailed his experience growing up poor in Rust Belt, Ohio, and making it to Yale Law School. It was a smash hit and became a Ron Howard-directed movie in 2020.
I know I could have done better, but you got to decide. You want to be somebody or not?
We're trying to paint this white nationalist movement as a movement primarily of poor and working class Americans, when the truth is that the alt-right is actually led by better educated and frankly pretty well-to-do people.
In his initial foray into the public spotlight, Vance was very much anti-Trump. His book made clear that he was a conservative. Many people latched onto it as an explanation for Trump's sort of surprise success in the Republican Party and then in the election.
When Vance launched his campaign for the Senate in 2021, his stance on Trump underwent a big shift.
I obviously didn't fully appreciate the president's appeal in 2016.
Yeah, he said some bad things about me, but that was before he knew me, and then he fell in love.
He even described himself to me in one interview as a flip-flop flipper on Trump, saying that he had similar policy views but was against Trump as a person until he realized that Trump was advocating for the policies that he supported.
While running for Senate, Vance was one of several pro-Trump candidates in the primary. But in one debate, Vance was the lone candidate to oppose a NATO-enforced no-fly zone over Ukraine, and that caught the eye of Trump's inner circle.
What a no-fly zone, it sounds nice, like we asked the Russians not to fly planes over Ukraine. What it means in practice is American Marine Corps pilots, Air Force pilots, and Navy pilots getting in dogfights with Russian jets, which the problem with that is it's not in our vital national interest.
That impressed Donald Trump Jr., and he began advocating for Vance's candidacy, including with his father.
All the bravest and boldest conservatives in the country are behind J.D.
That's a little bit about who J.D. Vance is. A lot of folks are surprised that J.D. Vance is the Republican running mate, because a while ago he had this to say on Fox News.
You've said I'm a never Trump guy, never liked him, terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible. Those are things that the left is going to come after you, and they're probably going to be put in ads should you be chosen as the VP pick.
Funny how times change, right? J.D. Vance also can be funny at times. He had this to say to the media.
What is that change going to look like, Don? What practically, your father as president, I think you would even say, was a divisive figure. What's it going to look like in the second term?
I don't think he was a divisive figure at all. I think the media created divisiveness around him. They lied about Russia collusion. They said he was a traitor. They went after him in every which way possible. If the media actually starts being an honest broker, talking about the things that he did, the prosperity he brought, the peace deals that he signed around the world, rather than the disaster that we're living right now, I think you'd do everyone in the country a big favor.
I know immigration's important to him. I covered the family separation crisis closely. Will we continue to see policies like separating 5,000 children deliberately from their parents?
You mean the Obama administration?
You know they didn't do that, sir.
Okay. Sure.
Will there be a second family separation policy?
It's MSDNC, so I expect nothing less from you clowns. Even today, even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait with your lies and with your nonsense. So just get out of here.
Clowns, get up out of here. He's starting to sound a lot like Trump, don't you think? What else is going on today? The Washington AP reported a federal judge in Florida dismissed the classified documents case against the former President Donald Trump on Monday, siding with the defense lawyers who said the special counsel who filed the charges was illegally appointed by the Justice Department. The decision by U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon, which is expected to be appealed and may eventually be overturned by a higher court, brings, at least for now, a stunning and abrupt conclusion to a criminal case that at the time it was filed was widely regarded as the most perilous of all legal threats the Republican former president confronted. Though the case had long been stalled and the prospect of a trial before the November election already non-existent, the judge order is a significant legal and political victory for Trump as he recovers from a weekend assassination attempt and prepares to accept the Republican nomination in Milwaukee this week. Representative Matt Gaetz predicts Judge Aileen Cannon as the next Supreme Court Justice. He put out this tweet. Future Supreme Court Justice Cannon. Do you guys think that President Biden is concerned about former President Donald Trump winning? He had this to say in an interview with Speedy from Complex.
I asked this question in an effort to show the younger generation that we have to coexist. So in the event that former President Trump wins this election, what is something that you feel he will do well?
I'm not being facetious. I can't think of a single thing.
Oh, Joe Biden.
We saw Don Jr. make the big announcement. He, his sister, his brother, wife, girlfriends, all in tow in the crowd, and they went wild.
They absolutely did. Kira, I do want to pick up on the question you just asked Terry, because I'm staying right on point with you, Kira, because you mentioned that statement that came out a few minutes ago from the Biden-Harris campaign. Clearly, the gloves coming off. Donald Trump Jr., who, as we saw, speak to our Rachel Scott, and I can tell you has been really the architect between J.D. Vance getting on the ticket with his father, just put out this tweet, Kira. I want to read it in part. It reads, quote, Biden is stuck with the worst VP in the history of our nation. President Trump is one of the most dynamic young leaders in the country, referencing J.D. Vance. He goes on to say our party has never been more unified. But again, that tone clearly stripping away from what we have seen over the last 48 hours of trying to take the temperature down. You know, as President Biden said from the Oval Office at some point over the last few days, Kira, it was going to get back to vigorous debate, and clearly we're very much entering that. But look, I do think that this is a major win for Donald Trump Jr., who I can tell you, Kira, up until late this morning, early this afternoon, was continuing to work the phones, continuing to try to convince his father that J.D. Vance was indeed the right person. And we can tell you that up until just the last few hours here, Kira, our team reporting in real time that Senators Marco Rubio and Governor Todd Burgum were informed in just the last few hours that they were not going to be amongst the individuals that would join Donald Trump on this ticket heading into November. Listen, I do think that one of the things we're going to see shortly is J.D. Vance come into this arena here in Milwaukee. It'll be one of the first times we have seen him formally since it was announced by the former president he would join the ticket. The big thing, though, that possibly, I don't think we're going to see it this afternoon, but maybe this evening, many people I can tell you around this arena have been coming up saying to me, or I've overheard conversations, Kira, they want to see President Trump Trump. He has not been seen in a public way. We've only seen some videos of him boarding his aircraft, but nobody has really seen him since that horrific assassination attempt on Saturday. Perhaps shortly we will see him here, Kira.
Do me a favor. In the comment section, let me know who you think is going to win. Former President Donald Trump or current President Joe Biden. Until next time.